Take your stinking paws off me, you damn dirty ape!
Return to the planet of the apes.
Welcome to another episode of Go Ape Podcast. I am your host, Jon Randall. With me as always,
Brendan Geringer.
Hello, Brandon.
How are you?
Good. How are you doing today?
Pretty good. Today's episode is about the Lagoon of Peril. It's episode 5 of the Return of the Planet of the Apes cartoon.
It was a good episode. I enjoyed it.
It was very good.
It's one of my favorites in the series.
And that's what we're going to be talking about.
All right.
Just to let you all know that might be new, you can find me on Twitter at SavageGM.
And I am Abe Randall on Twitter. And, of course, our podcast is Go Ape Podcast on Twitter.
We're also on Facebook.
And iTunes.
So, yeah, that covers all those bases. Mm-hmm. And let's get into this episode. I thought it was a very good episode as well. It does have some weird oddities in it, though, doesn't it?
Couple.
Yes, it does. So, it starts off where Bill and Jeff and Nova have left off in their adventures. And it starts off with a newspaper, like a newspaper boy. You know, he's like doing the, hey, you know, extra, extra, possible invasion of the Planet of the Apes.
Who says that?
I don't know.
It's never been said before this episode where they're constantly the Planet of the Apes. Like with the apes saying it.
Yes.
That's not been a thing.
It's very odd, and there's like a pause, too. And the characters practically almost look at the camera and go, the Planet of the Apes. You know, it's really weird. It happens a total of 6 times throughout this episode. And multiple characters do it. And it's literally like, I'm going to start saying Planet of the Humans, not Earth. Like, these people are so smart, they can't name their own planet. You know what I mean? The Planet of the Apes, the Planet of the Humans.
I didn't understand it at all.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
It just came out of nowhere in this episode.
They haven't done it at all before. I don't believe they've done it at all before. The actual apes saying it.
Right, the apes. Like I said, I'm fairly certain Bill or Jeff has been like, it's a Planet of Apes.
Exactly.
You know, something like that. But
and there's like that weird pause, and I don't know, they're just trying to drum up some sort of whatever. I don't know, it's almost like a dumbing down of the watcher, of the viewer of the episode, you know? So there's a council, once again, like the Senate Council is discussing about these intelligent humanoids. Mm-hmm. That, you know, they're afraid of them, you know, they talk about spaceships, so that's gotten out. That's leaked. Not exactly sure how.
I'm sure Urka.
But how does he know about spaceship?
Well, didn't he come up with a theory that the reason these humans are intelligent is because they came from space?
I guess so.
Somehow all this is leaked out.
There's a bit of a...
This is leaked out.
It's all
spaceships,
leaked out. Mm-hmm.
Aliens from outer space, humans from outer space that can talk.
Well, later on they've got that guy in the bed, like at the hospital. And he, like, spills some beans, I guess, about what he saw. I guess because of just, you know, one of Urko's men. But that comes on a little bit later. But people are afraid of these aliens from outer space with their spaceships. Urko's there at the council, and he's pretty much like, we need to destroy them before they destroy us.
Yep. They're going to teach other humans to talk. It'll be the end of our Planet of the Apes as we know it.
They're afraid that they're going to, and this happens a little later, they talk about this as well. They're afraid that they're going to make them think for themselves. The humanoids think for themselves. Are they like ants? Do they think these people are like ants, like think for themselves? Or I guess they needed to just say that they're going to rise up and fight us against us, is what they should have said. But I guess, how many humanoids have we seen? This one cave with 38 special in it?
Yeah, I was going to say maybe like 12, 15, 20.
I haven't seen a whole bunch of humans. So to me, there's just a big, you know, just weird balance of how many humanoids there is to the justification of this threat. We haven't seen a whole bunch. I think that's a poor thing on the show. They should show more humanoids. You don't see them they don't see them like in Conquest of the Planet of the Apes. You don't see them integrated in part of the society.
They didn't have the animation budget to do it.
I guess not. Well, I don't know why not. They reuse stuff over and over again. They could just reuse that trash, you know, or you know, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. But it does lead to some interesting stuff, such as they've got a TV report telling all the people about it. So it's hit the main media, it's hit the press. It's talking about the humanoids and that the Senate, and again I've got here the Planet of the Apes, as the reporter says to the people on TV. So another one of many of these, us on the planet of the apes. All right. So Zaius and Urko, they discuss about the humanoids.
Herb Zaius?
Did I say that?
No.
Herb Zaius? What? Oh, I don't know if we'll find out about that if that's his name. Zaius tells reporters that they're going to try to make an expedition into the Forbidden Zone. And, of course, there's talk of spaceships out there as well. So, convenient time, as Jeff and Bill in the caves, they get some of the humanoids kind of, hey, there's some flashing going off in the distance. And they're like, hey, that's Cornelius' emergency alert signal that he's doing to let them know. Because Cornelius and Zira, they on the know from listening to the reports on the radio, probably on the TV, that they're heading out that way. Watch out. And they come and tell Bill and Jeff to scram. They're coming for you. They're going to wipe you all out. Urko's going to try to really mess with you. Okay. Their fear is that they're going to infect these other humanoids and let them start thinking for themselves. Folly is what it is, in my opinion. It doesn't make much sense. Okay. Jeff is like, well, what we need to do is get back to the shuttle. Now, is this a shuttle or is this a capsule? What do you think it is? It's a capsule. It's a capsule, if you ask me. There ain't no shuttle about it. No. I mean,
yeah, it's the shape of a capsule. There's no discussion with that.
That's it's pretty big. It is pretty big in the water, though. But they left that back in the ocean or sea, whatever the hell it is. And it's funny because Jeff's like, well, we got to get back to the shuttle and use the self-destruct computer. I'm like, well, that is so. There's just a computer designated for self-destruct of the thing.
Why would they ever need to self-destruct a capsule?
I don't know. It's very strange. We'll use the self-destruct capsule. Like, you had to remind him about that. Like, well, yeah, you've got the self-destruct computer. That's what it does. And then all of a sudden, Nova chimes in with her gobbledygook mouth. She's telling them there's some sort of danger out there.
I hate Nova. In all forms across all the films, she's dumb mouth and she's no good.
You wouldn't kick out of bed, though, I bet, in the original.
Not from the movies, no.
Okay.
Very attractive.
Yes. She warns them of danger, and Cornelius is like, well, she's trying to warn you of some sort of danger. I'm not 100% sure how she knows about this, but I guess she's adventurous type, and she's been out there, and she knows some of the perils, possibly in a lagoon, they may face. It is called Lagoon of Peril. So,
who named it that?
The people who made the show?
Oh, you're just talking about for the show. Yeah. They didn't actually refer to that in the show.
No, not in the show.
Because I was about to say,
I'm just using
who called it the Lagoon of Peril?
Let's say Lagoon. Yeah, they're going to Lagoon of Peril. So the apes head out of the city in their Rolls Royce and their cars. And
very stylish.
Very stylish cars. And, of course, their army get up, too. Their jeeps and trucks.
But Dr. Zaius has to ride in style.
Yeah, up in
He also hates the sun.
Yeah, he really loathes the sun. Well, they're probably very hairy. They're very hairy, so it's,
I feel their plight.
Of course. So they're heading out of Ape City. Of course, once again, Jeff, Nova, and Bill. I'm going to just refer to whenever Bill and Jeff are together as BJ.
Okay.
Well, I got BJ in here written. But they, so the three of them, they once again see one of these firewalls in the Forbidden City. So I guess the mutants, the underdwellers, they just throw these up as like, they're just like permanent placement of illusions, maybe?
Or
they have control over them?
Maybe they're somehow triggered by some sort of scientific equipment. Because they were very advanced underneath the city with all their stuff. So maybe they have some kind of like hologram projectors that project this stuff.
Well, of course.
Because it does keep coming up in the same areas.
Yeah, it does. And of course, they all know it's hokum. So they just...
Yeah, they
Bill
keep
and Jeff
walking.
are like, not a big deal. There's an earthquake once again. And they're kind of like, these crazy mutants with their illusions.
Which is rehashed footage once again. That's the exact same shot
Just
as when they lost Usa, when she fell down the pit. Usa. When she fell down. It's the exact same thing, like just with Nova in her place on the screen. They probably just drew over her.
That's great. So there's an earthquake, illusions. The apes finally make it to the Forbidden Zone, the area of the Forbidden Zone. They see the wall of fire as well, and they're more cautious about it. A lot of these grunt gorillas they're afraid of fire, and Zaius knows that they're illusions. Okay, I guess he's smarter.
I don't know how, but
I guess he's smarter than that, and so he's like, they can't, don't worry about them. They're just illusions. Keep on driving. BJN are camping out in a cave, and at nighttime they can see the army far off into the distance, and they're getting closer. Which, tell you what, man, they really covered some ground by foot compared to them on car. I don't know how they did it, to be honest with you. because most of this episode
They knew a shortcut.
I guess so. Well, they're able to scramble over maybe some rocks and stuff and mountains
Because they don't have to drive along
They
the
don't have to
path.
drive exactly. But still, I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, most of the apes and Zaius and them, they're in cars the whole episode, the whole time. So they're scared again. The apes are. They're of all these illusions. At nighttime for the campsite for the apes, all of a sudden in the sky is this huge skull.
Gorilla skull.
It's a gorilla skull. Of like a flame shooting out of its mouth and out of its eyes. It's pretty cool, actually.
Pretty death metal.
Yeah, it's pretty death metal. Very much.
And I think the only person who was enjoying it and not terrified by it was Urka.
Exactly, because he's smart.
He really looked into it. Like he looked like he just needed that on a T-shirt, and he would have been sporting that.
So, there's flames shooting up in the sky. There's lightning that's going down, and trying to scare the apes. And Zaius just disbelieves the skull. And he tells them to go get some sleep. They're heading out at dawn, but it kind of disappears once he's able to kind of disbelieve it. He's like, this is trash. You get out of here. Well, BJN make it to the lagoon. What?
BJN.
You don't like BJN?
It's fine. They make it to the lagoon. Instantly, Jeff has his shirt off.
Yeah, he's got his shirt off. Maybe Bill's a little flabby underneath. He didn't want to take his shirt off so everybody could see. Maybe I don't know.
His pectorals weren't as good as Jeff's. But they're in a raft already. B and J are. Nova's staying on the shore. She's not going to have any part of the water, as it's the Lagoon of Peril.
Exactly.
So she knows
that it's dangerous.
Perilous.
It's perilous. Very perilous. And they're on a yellow boat, which is kind of the same color. Did they use that in the beginning when they got off?
I really don't remember.
They must have stored it somewhere, stashed it. It is very reminiscent of what Taylor and the boys used in the first Planet of the Apes.
And then wore as an outfit.
Yeah.
Cut up.
Well, you got to use what you can. So the apes are starting to approach, and all of a sudden there's a rock slide. Now, here's a question for you. Big mountain rock slide. Why didn't they think that was an illusion? It cuts them off of their passage, making it towards the lagoon. And they just happen to be going right... Well, of course, they know about this damn shuttle capsule.
I think the reason why is because in all their dealings, their military dealings around the planet, I have to believe they've run into natural rock slides, but they've never come up against walls of flame.
I guess so.
Or,
I figure they just want to go out there and touch it. Just have one guy go touch it.
I feel like they probably went, you know what? It's probably legit. Like, this happens.
It's probably too legit.
Quit.
I would just have Derek go touch that rock. You know what I mean? See if it's real or not.
Jason the Gorilla.
Yeah, Jason the Gorilla. So Bill swims down to the capsule.
Long ways down.
Very long ways down. He's not kicking his feet. It's something I kind of brought up. I'm like, how are you sinking? Do you have rocks in your
He's
pockets?
blowing all the air out of his body.
You still need to really start pumping those arms and legs to get down any real depth, which he was definitely doing.
I don't know. Because, Jay, a friend of ours, when he jumps in his pool, Jay just blows all his air out and he sinks straight to the bottom and sits there. Yeah. So, maybe that's what Bill was doing.
I guess.
Blowing all that air out just so he can go straight down.
I guess so.
I don't know how that works because as somebody who can swim, I've never been able to sit on the bottom of the pool.
Oh, yeah?
You know what I'm saying? Like, I can't do that. I don't have that ability. Like, I always float. Maybe it's because I'm fat. I don't know. My bloated corpse, just straight to the top. When I die, just throw me in a pool.
Exactly. Jeez. Muck the pool up.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, because of my buoyancy, I can't sink. I have to constantly swim down. So I don't know how people do that, period. Much less, or just blow your air out to go down real fast.
I can do that, and I can sit at the bottom. I can lay him on my back on the bottom of a pool.
Can't do it.
But
how do you do that?
You just blow it out, and you start sinking. You don't have any air in you, no buoyancy.
How are you sitting down there? What are you holding on to?
Nothing.
You still got breath in you.
Well, you do still have to kind of move your arms to make yourself kind of go down. It's not instant sinking.
Right, but saying,
if you make the motion to go down with no air in your lungs, you will go down.
But what I'm saying is,
he wasn't making any motion.
But if you're blowing all your air out, how are you breathing down there?
You're not. You're holding your breath.
But what are you holding on to? There is no breath. You've blown it all out. It doesn't make any sense.
My head explodes.
I don't understand.
You have neither air nor holding anything. You're just like, go ahead, we'll do it now. So you blow out. Now don't breathe back in.
But there's still something in there.
Let's cut you open and find out what's.
Cut me open.
Well, give me a knife. Let's see what's inside your chest there.
All right. So, anyways, Bill goes straight to the bottom.
He finds there's a hatch. It's stuck, and he uses a crowbar. Crowbar appears out of nowhere. It's probably in the capsule somewhere.
He went to get it.
He went and got it.
Because you know how that is.
Yeah.
We're going to space. We may need a crowbar.
Right.
Bring the crowbar.
And he's smart enough. I will say this. He's smart enough. And Jeff is like instantly like, where is he? Oh, why is it taking him so long? He's like, well, he's got to do shit down there, dude. Calm down. He's got to do shit. Well, luckily, Bill is smart. He goes and gets oxygen masks, which I'm certain he had 2.
He did.
The other one, I guess, was tossed aside. I don't know. He puts it on because Jeff doesn't use it later.
He puts on the one. He swims back up, gives Jeff the second one. We never see it again.
And Jeff, because later on, Jeff does go in the water, doesn't use it.
Yeah, it doesn't use it.
Well, he must.
It was in the boat.
I see. He opens it up, gets the oxygen mask. Zeus is like, screw these illusions. He's really had it with these illusions. Well, they're plot devices to hold him back, is what it is. He's figured it out. They just drive through a wall of fire. He's like, we got another wall of fire on us. Just go. Okay. Jeff gets the laser hatch open on this thing that's like laser gun hatch. And when he does, there's a bar to open up the hatch. It falls and kind of clanks down on the bottom of the seabed, is what we'll call it.
Well, the bottom of the capsule.
Where? Was it the bottom of the capsule?
Because he's still in the capsule.
Gotcha. Well, it makes a clang.
Clang.
Exactly. Camera pans over, which this episode has a moderate amount of panning shots in it. Not too terrible.
Not terrible.
Not terrible. Pans over, and if you don't watch the preview, because the preview from the episode before, Tunnel of Fear, does show you this reveal. If you don't watch that preview and you see this, you're all of a sudden like, holy shit. There, all of a sudden, it wakes up some sort of sea monster, which you described as being like
a cross between a praying mantis and like some sort of like Loch Ness monster dragonfish thing.
Exactly. That's exactly what it was. It wakes it up, and so for me, lover of mutants and creatures unknown, bizarre, not normal, I was like, hell yeah. Because I remember we watched that preview, I was like, oh yes.
Now, and let me stop you here. I don't want to tell you how to do your job as your half of hosting Go 8 podcast, okay? But if that's not the picture for this week on Twitter, we got a problem.
It will be. It will be.
Because I mean, it's the most memorable thing in the show.
There we go. That was me doing it.
There you go.
And it didn't feel great. But, so it just shows it kind of waking up. He's like, huh? I'm taking a good snooze here. You woke my ass up. Oh, see it? There it is.
You do it when somebody's talking.
Gotcha.
That's how you get them.
They make for the shore with the laser. Okay? They're back in their boats, and they're, it's weird because, Bill's got his short shorts on. He's got his tank top. Jeff's got his tank top off. Right? So that's kind of weird. But, they use the rock on some laser. I got here. It fucks the rock up.
Uses the laser on some rock, you mean?
What did I say?
You said uses the rock on some laser.
I was talking about Dwayne, the rock wrestler. They used the rock.
they used the rock to beat up a laser. That's weird.
I'm stupid. And so, yeah, it messes up the rock pretty good. I was like, why didn't you take this originally?
Why would you leave that?
That thing's great.
I guess they had to get out of that capsule quick when they first landed.
Why? It was just bobbling up at the top.
I don't know, man.
They had the lungs for it. I'd have stayed and been like, I guess they just forgot about the laser pistol. Cut the rock cutter. I'd have been like, that rock cutter would be pretty helpful. You could start fires with it. Or you could probably cut off like thousands of apes' heads off their shoulders.
They didn't know apes were on the planet at that time.
True. You never knew what was on this planet. I'd have taken it.
Well, they thought they were back on Earth, probably.
I would have taken it. That's what I would have done. So, Nova spots the army. And,
I hate her.
I know you do.
She's really bad.
Jeff goes back underneath the water because they still got to destroy this capsule. All right?
No, Bill does.
Bill?
Yeah. Jeff stays above because Bill's got to go set the self-destruct.
I wrote the wrong name down.
It's Bill that does it.
It's Bill. Bill goes back down to destroy the shuttle. I've got here, sea monster looks cool. And like you said, it looks like a praying mantis dragon. It's after Bill. It's chasing after Bill. He quickly sees a crevice in the rock face down underneath the water. He hides. Monster, of course, tries to bash the opening. How many times have we seen that?
Yeah, trying to jam your face into a little crack where the person is.
If you're a big monster, okay, what you need to do is when you're scoping out a lair, go look around the area, the vicinity. Don't make your lair around places that have crevices for your prey to go and hide. That's my 2 cents.
Or
let's move to someplace else.
Or evolve to have arms that really flex
Yeah.
in there and can rake
Or
and pull something
tentacles or
towards you.
something. Yeah, tentacles or
Yeah,
something.
you need a grabber.
You need grabbers.
You need evolved grabbers.
Yeah,
That's what you need. Whether it be some sort of forked tongue that can grab something and pull it back.
Yeah, some sort of
Tentacles, like you said.
tentacle that can shoot out like
Anything.
cuttlefish has got. Yeah,
A pretensiled penis. Whatever it takes to get out there and grab something and pull it back.
exactly. Because we've seen this probably 4 to 5 million times in movies.
Maximum
amount of times with movies with big monsters where Rancor,
T-Rex.
Dom DeLuise.
I mean, everything.
Everywhere. So, I've got here Jeff Seed the monster. That doesn't make much sense. It's a misprint. He sees the monster because the monster kind of surfaces just to be showy, I think, because it doesn't obviously need to breathe air.
Right.
He sees it and he's like, "Oh shit, Bill's in trouble." He dives in, no mask that he was given, so pretty courageous. And lo and behold, what does he do? Probably the most action-packed thing they do in the whole show. He laser blasts the monster. I wish it would have severed its tail because he kind of hits it in the ass.
Yeah, well, that's what I was wondering. Is he shooting to like wound it to scare it away?
Hit it on
Because
the
he definitely wasn't firing towards its head.
No,
but he shoots it towards the rear quarter.
exactly. He blasts the monster. It swims away, and it helps free Bill. Now let's just think about this for just 1 second here.
How's the laser passing through water?
Well, no, I'm okay with that to some degree because
we'll
I don't know how the
that.
technology works with this laser.
Well, lasers are very.
I'm just
advanced
thinking of the
technology.
scope of how cool this scene is. These guys are heading back to their shuttle to get their laser, to blow their capsule up. Apes are chasing after them. They're on, I believe it's called the Planet of the Apes. That's what the natives call it.
in the Forbidden Zone at the Lagoon of Peril.
With Nova, with Dumbmouth. And now they're underneath the water, and a huge praying mantis dragon is attacking Bill. They're using a laser to blast it. All of that is awesome. Like, that is just really sums up cool.
Can we both agree?
I'm gonna say both.
Fuck Your Mutants, best episode so far of the cartoon. You need to agree with that. It's better than the mutant episode.
It is,
I know you like the mutants.
This scene is better. I don't care for the...
So this one scene's better than that whole episode. Done. He said it. It's recorded.
Jesus. It is probably one of...
It's my favorite so far at this point.
It is one of the best episodes. And that's because look at what I just laid out for you. Look at the situation they're in. And if you wanted to have a really awesome show, this type of stuff should have happened constantly in this show. And where it really sparked genius was where it did kind of branch out, because later on there's another freak of nature. I believe it's called Monster Bird.
That's a good one.
And those are some of our favorite episodes where it kind of branches out, makes itself anew.
Yeah, when they're not constantly having to fight apes.
Yeah, well, they don't even fight them.
Even the next episode's a good one.
Yeah, it is. It does have some bad panning shots. Probably the most, in my opinion.
I'll be breaking out the stopwatch.
Yeah,
again
it's
on that
really
one.
bad in that. But it is a very good episode as well. But this episode, okay, I would say Monster Bird, this episode, and Mutant episode are top 3 episodes for me. So back to it. The monster jumps over the shuttle capsule thing just to be showy. BJ, I got BJ in here again. You want me to? Bill Jeff and Nova. They cover up their tracks. Which, okay, I guess. I mean, there's no...
They didn't want traces of them having been at the lagoon.
Gotcha.
Because it would prove that they came back for something.
I guess so, yeah.
The
hunt would still be on.
Right. So they're like covering up their tracks to show that they haven't been here in forever.
The shuttle's about to explode as there's a light going off, and beep, 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 beep. It's going on, flashing red. Beep, beep. So you know it's about to... Kaboom! It blows up. Very big explosion. The apes arrive just at the right time to see the explosion.
Well, no, they don't see it, and that's the thing.
The moment afterwards.
Because somehow the mutants have put up another firewall in front of them at that exact moment. So is USA helping them?
Could be. It's a scandal.
Because all of a sudden, firewall comes up, shuttle explodes, firewall goes away, and all they see is the recoil of the waves and stuff going on in the lake.
Yep.
So they never got to see the capsule. They have no evidence that people were here.
And then, right after that, the sea monster resurfaces again, and Zayas is like, there's your spaceship. It's this freak. You know? And I'm sitting there going, I'm saying to myself, I shouldn't have done that, but I like doing that every once in a while. Don't worry about humanoids. They haven't done trash to you, man. You got freaks in the ocean here. You got monsters running around this place. I'd be worried about this thing. You're not going to get anywhere of a civilization with huge monsters like that. man, back in the old days of like found in America, they'd have killed all creatures like that they found. They wouldn't have thrown them in zoos or anything.
Dynamite into the...
Oh, yeah, they'd have killed a creature like this. I'm like, you got a big monster right here. So Zayas kind of ridicules Urko. And I'm like, okay.
How about instead of ridiculing him, you go like this. Take those artillery cannons that we just hauled behind all these fucking Jeeps.
Let's do something.
Let's just aim it down there and start firing some shots down there.
Let's give the guys something to do. You know, they've been out here on a hot day. They need to try out these rounds.
But what does Zayas say? Get me back to Ape City before I melt. I hate the sun.
Like, what are you made out of? Chocolate or something?
Before he melts. He hates the sun.
Well, I guess.
Should have put the top up on that Rolls Royce.
Exactly.
It was a convertible, for God's sake.
They've got...
You know you're driving into the desert. Why would you take a convertible? They've got troop transport trucks with them with hooded canopies. Sit in one of those.
He wants everybody to see him coming.
It's the Rolls Royce.
And if you don't want to see anybody see you coming, you wear a camouflage condom. Everybody knows that.
You know what I wanted to work into this conversation?
What's that?
With the laser beam. Mm-hmm. It's a laser beam, bozo!
Real genius.
It's a good movie.
Very good film. We'll be doing it in Go Ape Podcast 2.0. If we continue on to Go Ape Podcast 2.0.
We'll get to that in a little bit.
So, back to a press conference with Zayas. He's telling the reporters and everybody, he says, we have found no spaceship. We went out to the Forbidden Zone. There are no aliens from space. Completely unfounded.
It was hokum.
It was hokum. And I've got written here, Planet of the Apes is said 6 times by the apes.
In this episode.
And I think it's funny that, in essence, what they did was, they all mounted up, get in the trucks, get in my Rolls Royce, let's all head out. We're going to go this way. We're going to get to this lagoon. We're going to see this monster. No humanoids, no spaceships, no aliens. Something like that. You took one direct path. There's plenty of area. But I think they're just trying to quell the media storm that's happening, is what it is.
Because they did allow reporters to go with them
correct.
To the Forbidden Zone, who were sending reports back and forth
I missed that
to the city.
I got it written right here. I missed it whenever I was going.
So they did allow reporters to go with them because they're trying to stop these rumors that there are intelligent humans on the Planet of the Apes.
And it almost kind of reminds me of like how they used to have reporters go to like war scenes, like Vietnam, war reporters and stuff like that.
Geraldo giving away coordinates.
Yep. Did you see the new episode of Apprentice? Wow. We need to talk about it.
I haven't seen it yet. I'll watch it later. I got Hulu now.
Okay, you watch it and let me know what you think. And that's the end of the episode. And then, of course, we watch the preview for the next one, and it's a good episode, like we spoke about. So this is episode 5, Lagoon of Peril. Let's get your overview of what you think about the episode. I know we've heard about you like it, but what makes it so great?
The monster.
Yeah,
that's the best part. Like you said, it's pretty good pacing of an episode.
Pretty good in the beginning. It's
the beginning has got a lot of Senate Cornelius Zera bullshit. Mm-hmm. But once we get past that and they get to the lagoon, it's pretty, bam, 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 bam of things going on. So it's a good episode. Could have used a little less Nova, but overall, still my favorite episode thus far of the show.
I would agree with that.
It wasn't a pain for me to watch the show this week.
No. Well, you knew it was coming up too.
Agreed, of course.
And I think people that didn't see it, they didn't know it was coming up, get a good surprise at the end. I think that some of the logic of some of the apes in this episode is slightly flawed or doesn't really make sense, or they're jumping to huge conclusions, or they're using evidence that I never saw that they actually knew, and they didn't speak about it before in the past. Because all of a sudden they're just talking about shuttles and apes, and of humanoids and aliens and spaceships, and I was like, okay, what? Now there was that scene with that guy in the bed. They show a video of a guy in a bed, and I was probably writing down because I have to write furiously when I'm doing this. And he obviously knew some information about what they had seen and stuff. But overall, it is a very good episode. And really, there's just that moment, like I said earlier, where you're sitting there and you're going, wow, look at what I'm watching, if you take it as a whole. Mutants, illusions, apes, monsters, underwater, blowing up, laser beams. Incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, yeah, Lagoon of Peril, episode 5 of Return of the Planet of the Apes cartoon is one of the best. Easily. And, yeah, that's the episode. All right, so, go Ape.
Go Ape?
No. So, here's the back end. And that's where we're going to put all our bullshit.
And I guess the front end. There was no front end.
There's not going to be any more front end.
What's the change for? I want to tell our listeners, this was sprung on me today. I was told we were going to change something up. Brandon was like, I'm just going to throw it at you, see how we deal with it. So here we are.
Well, I don't want to get too much into it, but I just think that in the format and the structure of our podcast, I don't want to alienate people that are Planet of the Apes fans by us talking for 20 minutes about stuff that doesn't have anything to do about Planet of the Apes.
But pretty soon, when we finish the cartoon, none of the podcast is going to have to do with Planet of the Apes.
True, and so that's fine, but we should have probably been doing this a while ago. And just put all of our stuff at the back end, so people can enjoy it. When they're listening to it, people are going to listen to something for about 5-10 minutes. And if they're true Planet of the Apes fans, they might be like, well, these guys aren't even talking about Planet of the Apes. I'm not going to listen to this. So we'd like to get more listeners, I believe. Right?
I guess.
No, I know, whatever. And so I just figured, you know what, let's just try this and we'll pull our bullshit on the back end. Mm-hmm. And people can now know that if they're trying it out new, that here they're talking about Planet of the Apes. And I know we don't go into deep detail about more Planet of the Apes stuff. I mean, we could be talking about, the action figures, more information about the movies and stuff like that. People who played roles, and like when we did the TV show, maybe we talk about Mark Singer and stuff like that. But ultimately, this podcast has got more life to it now, and that's going to be Go Ape Podcast 2.0. Of course, still love the cartoon, love the TV show, love the movies. Everything's great. But let's just, if you're listening. We've only got a couple more episodes, I think. this is 5. I think we got like 10 more episodes. 9.
Yeah,
of the
maybe 7. I thought it was only like 12 cartoons, but I don't know. Something like that. 7 to 10.
Let's just put it all in the back end, and that way, if you don't want to hear about Planet of the Apes, you can just fast forward to a certain point. And if you care about Planet of the Apes, you're going to get it right off the bat. You hear about it, and good to go.
Yeah, okay,
right?
Sure.
Is that not a good idea, you think, or what?
No, it's fine.
Is it fine, or do you agree with it?
I'm fine either way.
I
do know that some people listen to us up until we start talking about Planet of the Apes, and then they turn it off.
Well, see, and that's probably just the opposite. How many people are we losing that got on there and like, these guys are bullshit?
There's no way to know.
No way to know. But let's give this a try, and it's only going to be for these last couple of episodes.
Yeah, it's fine.
And I do think, too, as we do the show, we start to think about stuff or stuff that comes out for it, we can then talk about it on the back end, and it can all be together. And it doesn't have to be that much longer. I mean, some podcasts that are out there are quite large. And I've had complaints that even our podcast is too long. People don't like to listen for over an hour or something to a podcast.
Well, but most of these episodes have been around the 50-minute range anyways.
Yeah, 50.
I can't cater to everybody's millisecond attention span.
Right.
I just can't.
I would just like for us to get more listeners. It'd be fun to get more interaction from people. We do enjoy, the hard fans, hardcore fans that we have now.
The goal is 50,000 listeners.
Yeah, 50,000 listeners per episode.
Per episode.
That's the goal that we want to reach. But that's my new plan. If it works, maybe that's good. Maybe someone's starting on the episode right now and they're like, "Wow, these guys are talking about Planet of the Apes." That's why I listened. That's why I clicked on it. You see what I'm saying?
Now we got a Facebook message this week, right?
What do you mean?
Somebody, didn't you say somebody give us a shout out on Facebook?
Yeah, somebody give us a shout out on Facebook. It's
do we want to tell them?
Yeah, it's GoApe99 is his name on Facebook.
Thanks, GoApe99.
Yeah, gave us a shout out and told people to check us out. And very appreciative of that. Facebook is, we haven't had a whole bunch of activity on Facebook. More so on Twitter. But like I said, we like our fans. I just like to have a lot more of them. There's truly only 2 podcasts out there that do Planet of the Apes, which is kind of shocking if you ask me.
Let's just tell the truth. You want to be able to get to the point where you're having to sign autographs.
Oh, definitely.
Like you want to have to just wade through a crowd of people, and you're just like, I can't anymore. My hand's broken.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely what I want to get. No, I mean, I would just like to have just more listeners. I don't know what the future is going to be for us once we start doing Go Ape Podcast 2.0, how we're going to be able to really put it out there for people to know what it's about. I think that's the thing, is that I think it's difficult to find Go Ape Podcasts when I Google it and stuff like that. It's not the print is not there as much. It is there, but I just want to make sure that people understand that for right now, this is a Planet of the Apes podcast, and we do bullshit. And I don't want one to overshoot the other. You see what I'm saying? Too much bullshit. And now, especially since we're doing something that's shorter. That's nice. I like it now. It reminds me of something refreshing, so that works. We're doing much shorter things too, so there's more bullshit. You see what I'm saying? So if someone's listening to a newer episode, which I tell you what, whenever I get to a podcast, I always go to the very first. I don't like listening to what they're talking about now. That's just me.
Oh yeah, I do that too. I started at the beginning of the podcast.
It's furthest back I can go.
I'm like 2 years behind on the Ninja Turtle podcast I listen to.
Jeez.
Those guys,
they don't have a clue what's about to come.
But dude, those guys on each podcast, 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, you told me about
each
that.
podcast. Wow. So it's a you know, I'm on like episode like I think like 69 or 70. So I've listened to like 280 hours of their podcast.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I mean it's a lot of stuff. I mean, and I think they're only up to like episode like 90 something right now. But like they're doing the entire chronology.
That's a lot, man.
Yeah, it's
So
incredible.
they've got a lot to cover, though. You know, I mean, we've got some stuff to cover, but I don't know. I've had second guesses about how some of the format's been on this, but I think it's worked out well. I don't think it has anything to do with what we're doing. I think it just more has to do with, you know, people being able to get the podcast or listen to it or know about it. You know, PR. That's what it is.
We need a PR guy.
We need a PR guy. That's what we need.
So Perry Caravello, if you're listening, we need a PR, a hype man, if you
That would be
wish.
good. That would be good.
A podcast enthusiast
That would be nice.
is what we need. So if you want to hype our podcast, that'd be great.
Well, my hopes is that whenever someone sees, like, say we're going to do, the first thing we're going to do is the Turtles movies, right?
Sure.
That's what you said?
Yeah.
That someone that is, they're not just interested in hearing us bullshit, and they're interested in the Turtles. So that's when they look for it, they find it. I think it's just like anything else. You've only got like a couple minutes to keep people's attention nowadays anyhow. You know? So either we're really funny right off the bat, which that's random. I've been known to do some zingers from time to time. But, and you too, and you're funny looking, but they can't see. They might just be like, oh, they're not talking about what I want them when I clicked on. You know, so let's give it to them right up front.
Well, that's fine. Now, moving on.
Yep, we got
Tonight,
Uh-oh.
the Royal Rumble
All right. And I think we talked about that.
starts at 8.
And you're excited?
I'm excited.
You have any food prepared for this? Or is it like a layout? Are you going to do like... You know what you need to do? You're about to go on a diet, right? Or you're doing it?
I mean, I'm just not drinking soft drinks right now.
Okay.
That's my contribution to my team.
Well, here's something for our longtime listeners. I've gained all my weight back.
You're real fatty.
Yeah, back and gained all that 30 pounds back that I lost. I will say...
How long did it take you to gain it back?
It was longer than the diet.
Because you did the diet for 2 months.
Less than 2 months. I lost 30 pounds.
Less than 2 months.
I would say probably 4 months, 4 or 5 months. Double the time.
Okay.
I had some stuff going on in my life that made me eat a lot. And
Sad eating.
yeah, sad
That's
eating.
so sad of you.
So I ate a lot to cover that up. But that's over now, and I'm going to try to get back into it. But for you, man, with this, I was like, wow, this is a big deal. Maybe you should go and get wings or something, and get you a dip platter, like with like vegetables and stuff. Like
Let's not get out of control. It's not WrestleMania.
That's what you would do for WrestleMania.
Plus, next weekend is the Super Bowl.
Oh yeah,
And I will be eating a lot of food during the Super
yeah.
Bowl
I look forward
Sunday.
to that. I look forward
So it's not like, you can't go crazy this weekend because next weekend's going to be another binge fest of food.
Well, I'm glad it's going to be WrestleMania. I mean, it's going to be Royal Rumble, right, tonight.
Correct.
I will not try to tweet anything out in case you've fallen asleep.
Please don't. I plan on watching it
But
nonstop.
but you're not recording it, so I mean,
No.
you would if you fell asleep or something. Then
Well, I don't have to record it. I have WWE Network. I can just rewind it
oh, that's right.
and watch it over.
And that's you're going to renew that again next year. I mean, that's just admit it. You're going to renew that, right?
Oh, it's already been renewed.
Okay.
Like, because when you sign up, it's a 6-month commitment. So I've already renewed it once. And then now I'll finish out this 6-month commitment. And then I think when that's over, they've changed their payment structure where you can pay month to month.
They did change that.
And it's still the $9.99. You can just, there's no commitment of like 6 months. You just pay month to month. It doesn't matter. I want to keep it because I love it.
You love it. That's what I was going to ask you next.
I think it's
how much
great.
you like it.
No, it's a great service. I mean, there's just so much stuff on there you can watch, and so much stuff just from, all the way back to like the 70s. Like,
Right.
just tons of stuff you can watch. So
Bam
I've
Bam
definitely gotten my
Bigelow,
money out of it.
Bam Bam Bigelow. Did you see anything with Bam Bam?
Of course. I mean, he's.
Well, that's great, man.
But yeah, so Royal Rumble tonight. Looking forward to it. I think it's going to come down to 3 people. I don't know which one's going to win.
And neither of these 3 are people that you want to win, or
2 of the 3 I don't care about. I
Well, 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
I mean, 2 of the 3 I don't care if they win.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm saying. One of the people I'm like I don't want him to win at all. Who is Roman Reigns? I don't think he's a very good wrestler, and his mic skills are terrible.
his promo cuts.
Exactly.
He's got the long hair, right?
Yes, when he cuts, he's the cousin of The Rock, and he does not have The Rock's charisma. That's the problem. There you go.
That's me.
He's got the look. He's got the looks. Okay.
He's got the tools. He's got the talent.
His but his wrestling's not that great. And because I've always big men wrestlers are always not that great for the most part.
Sure.
How many times can I watch Hulk Hogan do a leg drop? You know what I'm saying?
True.
Like that's all he did. Leg drops and flexing. Like that's all he's got. So sorry, Trey. And then so yeah, get rid of Roman Reigns. I don't want him to win. I think the only two people that are going to win and the city not go berserk tonight and cause a riot is if either
that always gets me.
Dolph Ziggler or Daniel Bryan. One of those two has to win.
What about Dolph Ziggler?
And if either of those two won, I'd be fine with it. If I had my choice, I would pick Dolph Ziggler because I love him. He's great.
He's a good-looking guy too, right?
I mean, yeah, he's yeah.
I think he's a good-looking guy. He's real cut.
Well, I mean, not so much. He's like he's got like the Nature Boy Ric Flair blonde hair type.
Oh, that's already great.
Kind of look,
Yeah. Well, good. I'm happy about that. I like I said, I enjoy whenever something happens that you're happy about because you're kind of a sad person sometimes. Not much going on.
There you go. That's Dolph Ziggler.
Oh, yeah, he's a good-looking dude.
I mean,
I like him. Yeah, he's all right. He's got a little bit of a sloped brow, a little bit. But.
I like him a lot. The only thing about him I wish they would change is it seems like his character's constantly having to like come from behind to win, which gets tiresome. Like I'm talking like straight out the gate gets his ass beat, and then it's like the rest of the match he's barely holding on, and he has to do some like come from behind maneuver to win the match, and that's getting tiresome. Like if you want to really put a guy over and make him popular, he needs to be able to go out there and kick some ass,
right?
And not constantly get his ass beat.
The way that Cena did, and Stone Cold, and Rock.
Yeah, Rock, like all of them, man. Like they were constantly
kicking
people's asses. Yeah. So that's what they need to do with Dolph Ziggler, in my opinion. But I like him a lot right now of the current wrestlers. But if him or Daniel Bryan won, I wouldn't mind, as long as Brock Lesnar does not have the championship at WrestleMania, because Daniel Bryan is so small. I can't buy, even though I know it's all staged. Like there's no world, there's no world in which I believe Daniel Bryan would beat Brock Lesnar,
right? Or
B-less, as you call him.
Okay. Well, hopefully we'll be talking about what happened from it next week. Maybe there'll be some surprises. I know sometimes they
Sting?
That would be cool.
Do you want Sting?
I do want Sting.
That's what I want. So, yeah, maybe
I want Ric Flair to show up, kick everybody's ass.
Well, he was at Raw Monday night.
He
got knocked out, KO'd. The Big Show.
I don't like that.
Right cross. Instantly knocked him out.
Let me ask you, does anybody get cut anymore?
Very rarely.
Remember how they used to get cut back in the old days?
Oh, yeah,
Just covered in blood?
Yeah, they don't like doing that now. And then you have the time period of when Linda McMahon was running for Congress, like legitimately when she ran for like Congress. During that time period, they decided they had to clean up the image of the WWE. So if somebody got cut during that, they instantly shifted the cameras to black and white.
Oh, wow. What?
Yeah. So you wouldn't see the blood in color.
Okay.
Like all of a sudden, if somebody got cut, every time they showed that person, they'd cut back and forth between color cameras. Like if it was showing somebody else, it'd be in color. All of a sudden, they cut to that person with blood covering their face. It'd be in black and white.
Weird.
It was just something weird they did at that time to try to clean up their image, so it wasn't such a violent thing that she was associated with while she was running for Congress.
I see. Well, anything else about that, or you want to move on to something?
We move on to something else. You got something?
I don't know. What do you got?
I don't have much right now. No.
I don't know. My week has been okay. Mm-hmm. It's been pretty good. My job's doing all right. That's working. Hopefully, I'll get paid next week. That'll be a month doing it without being paid. So that's a little difficult, but it's not a tough job. But
have you inquired about that?
Yeah. I should get it next week. So
did our other associate ever get paid?
They did.
Okay,
so that works out.
That's
too.
good.
Yeah, getting paid is good for jobs.
Yeah, you don't want to work for free.
That's
called enslavement.
Exactly.
Indentured servitude.
I watched a terrible movie last night, Barbarian Queen, sword and sorcery movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a sorcery movie. It was just sword and tits is all that movie is. And I can imagine me being like a 12-year-old boy watching that movie, sneaking away to watch that movie. It would have been very pleasing. But now I was just kind of like, well, this is just gratuitous. And I was like, this is rough. This is really rough. But I did that last night. We're still playing video games. Everything's pretty much cruising the way it normally does. I did... this is for people who remotely might enjoy role-playing games that are listening to this. We have a mutual friend, and he's opened up a new store for Magic the Gathering card game.
I'm sorry, no free advertising.
Well, he's got a new store that's opening up, and I'm excited. It's got a designated RPG room, so that's freaking awesome. something I've been waiting for years to come to the upstate here.
So if you're in the Greenville area,
yeah,
it'll be located on Pleasantburg Drive.
it's called Gnome Gorilla Games. A little weird. It's their nicknames, but a little strange. But
His nickname is Gorilla?
what's his picture on Facebook is a gorilla. So he's somehow associated with the gorilla. We need to have him on Go 8 Podcast.
I was going to say, I like that. It's a little bit of infringing on our
It
Go 8
is,
Podcast logo.
So I'm excited. I'm excited for him. Hope it's going to work out well. Magic the Gathering. He told me that. So I used to play Magic the Gathering back in like 1994.
That was 21 years ago.
Yeah.
21.
I used to play back then.
2 decades.
Yeah. He's been playing ever since then, non-stop, pretty much.
We're old.
Yes. And he says that now is bigger than it ever has been. Like, beyond anything.
I don't believe it because
I don't know.
But here's my defense. You ready? I don't see Magic tournaments on ESPN anymore.
Oh, that's true.
They used to be.
They did, didn't they?
I mean, if it's so big, why aren't they on ESPN? Just like World Series of Poker. Let's have World Series of Magic.
I forgot
tournaments.
about that, man.
And ESPN. Now, granted, this was an ESPN startup period in the early '90s, late '80s, but that shit exists. Despite Disney's best efforts to hide that, you can go on YouTube and type in like Magic the Gathering ESPN, and you'll see those tournaments that they used to air in the middle of the night.
Well, I guess it's kind of like they didn't know what was going to be the new cool X game. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
And of course, that's transitioned now over to video game. Competitive video game players and stuff like that. So, wow, that's very interesting. Yeah, I forgot all about them playing on that. It's almost kind of like the.
It's a forgotten thing.
Like XFL.
Somebody referenced the XFL the other night. What was I watching? Oh, I was watching the Royal Rumble from 2001. 2001 Royal Rumble.
Wow.
And somebody, like one of the announcers, obviously to cross market stuff.
Cross it like an X?
Yeah, exactly, XFL. Somebody did a move in the ring, and I believe Jim Ross said, that's a legal move in the XFL. XFL.
Do you remember watching the XFL when it first came on?
I do. I think I watched the very first game ever with you.
Yes.
And there was a scramble for the ball, because that's what they did to determine who got the ball.
And we thought it was really cool.
But remember that one guy got hurt on the initial scramble for the ball, out for the entire season? Like, he got hurt so bad, his whole season was over on the first scramble. Not even the first play of the game.
Right.
Just the scramble for the ball.
It did have some other rules and stuff in it, didn't it?
Oh, yeah, it had ridiculous rules.
But what was weird was that I remember when we first watched it, we were like, wow, this is really kind of neat. And this is who created XFL.
This is Vince McMahon.
Exactly. So it goes right into that. I will admit that whenever I saw it first, I was like, this is awesome. This is high octane. This is crazy. Look at these different rules. This is really, But as soon as you watched it, it was like, I didn't watch another episode. I mean another game. I was like, it was so weird. It's so weird to be like, this is new and cool and different. Like, I don't care. Wasn't that how you received it?
I mean, yeah, I don't remember watching many games of it. That's for damn sure. It only had one season, right? That was it, and then it folded?
I think so. I do know that somebody out there got a tattoo, like an XFL tattoo, because I remember seeing that.
I was actually, I'm not even joking when I say this, I was looking on eBay for an XFL football. Because I'd like to have one.
Sure.
Just to be like, there's a forgotten footnote in the history of football right there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, but they're expensive. Like on eBay, they're like $50.
Well, they're a rarity.
For like one. So I mean, but I would love to have an XFL football. Like, just to have it and be like, there you go. That's wrestling's football right there.
Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, I'd like to have that. That would be neat. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. With so much stuff going on right now in the NFL, there's already talk that the NFL probably won't exist in like 10 years.
Well, I've said for the last couple of years, probably in the next 5 years, NFL's going to be flag football. Yeah. Because they've tried to change it so much where you can't tackle a certain way or hit a certain way. I'm like, just fuck off and leave the game how it is. Like, honestly. Like, you've done so much, why not just give them fucking flags and we'll call it flag football? Because it is stupid.
You're right.
It's stupid beyond belief.
Well, I mean, I don't know. It's just not that. It's all the rules, man. It's so many rules. I don't think you'll ever find a game out there with so many rules, and they change yearly. Very frustrating to keep up with. And, constant replays and stuff like that. We got Deflategate going on.
That's dumb. Let me touch on this for a second, okay? Because I have... Look, as a Miami Dolphins fan, I have no love for the New England Patriots. I hate the Patriots.
Why is that? Because why is that connected?
They're in the same division.
Okay.
And
so they get their asses kicked.
and the Patriots constantly kick our asses. Like, you know, in the 90s, it was the Jets.
Okay.
And, you know, I hated the Jets. Now, you know, in the last, you know, probably 10, 15 years, it's been really the Patriots. Okay. I hate the Patriots. I do not believe they deflated balls.
And why don't you believe that they do that?
Here's my thing.
That they don't do that.
Each team, before the game, has to provide 12 balls to the referees. Okay? There are 6 separate balls used solely for kicking the football. Okay? Because they're a little bit harder, and those are the balls that they use for kicks. Okay? So each team provides 12 balls. 2 hours before the game, the refs go in, they weigh every single ball to make sure that they are the proper weight.
That's amazing.
Okay? If a referee's filling the ball and they don't like it, they can toss it out and say, you got to give me another one. Okay? After they do that, the refs take the balls. Okay? The teams no longer have them.
Okay.
All right? So, during the game, okay, let's say somehow the Patriots deflate 12 balls. Well, the refs are the ones changing out the balls in between plays.
Right.
How are they guaranteeing that they're not getting a ball that was a Seahawks ball versus a Patriots ball?
That's correct.
You know what I'm saying? My other thing about it is that game was cold as balls. It was it was in New England. It was cold as shit.
It's cold as balls.
Okay? It was cold as shit there. What happens in the wintertime when you get in your car and you crank it up? Oh, what's this indicator? Low air pressure in my tires.
Right.
Cold air causes things to deflate. Those balls were only like 2 ounces off. After a few hours, 3 hours out in a cold-ass game, I'm sorry, where it's like, under 30 degrees, the cold could have deflated those balls that couple of ounces.
That is true.
So that's all that. And then no matter what, even if the balls were a little bit deflated,
who gives a shit?
That doesn't excuse Indianapolis's poor-ass tackling and blown fucking coverage.
Right.
If you're not covering a receiver who's wide open in the end of the end zone, they're going to catch the ball. So fuck you, Indianapolis. You're a bunch of poor sports. I should be the last person having to defend the Patriots, but I don't think they cheated.
All right. Well, that's good.
That's me.
That's a good defense.
That's my stance on all that.
That's a good defense. I don't know. I think it's kind of silly. I think this is only happening because it is obviously the Patriots, but they do have a
history of cheating.
So people are looking to take down kings, people on top. You can only go down below that. So they're looking for anything they can. I think it's another one of those blights on the sport. I think with everything else that goes along with it, too many rules, too many weirdness, too many terrible players, friggin' criminals and murderers, stupid stuff that happens. Just so much stuff that happens in these football games, and like you said, the concussions. Flag football in the future, dumb rules. Do they have replays this year? What are they going to do? They were talking about changing field goals last year, the end of last year. No more field goals. I mean, it's just constant changing and meddling with this game. And if they're not doing it, the players are doing something stupid. The fans are doing something stupid. Or something happens. Really irritating. But, oh well, we'll see. Nothing is going to come up.
And let me say this about the Super Bowl. I don't give a shit about either of these teams.
Mm-hmm.
It'll be a cold day in hell before I pull for the Patriots to win, but that doesn't mean I want Seattle to win.
I'll probably be rooting for Seattle.
Because I will say this. As much as I hate the Patriots, I respect Tom Brady a lot.
Right,
he's a phenomenal quarterback.
Yeah.
This is his, I want to say, 6th Super Bowl that he's been in. I kind of think it would be cool to see him get a 4th Super Bowl ring.
I'm going to root for the team that looks like they're playing the best game. That's who I'm going to root for.
Flip-flopping.
Whoever deserves it. I mean, you can sometimes you can just see the team. The only thing I root for, what I root for in the Super Bowl? Food. That's all I root for. I look forward to the spread. I like seeing what my folks got, what they laid out, what I can bring to it.
Mm-hmm. How it
lays out. Yeah, and then I look back and say, how is this going to tear me up in the morning when I wake up in the morning? My gutty works.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
If you're lucky, you get to the morning.
I cannot stand the commercials. I loathe Super Bowl commercials. For starters, one, the internet has absolutely murdered movie trailers. Murdered them. Okay? Doesn't matter. Back in the day, before the internet, we used to watch the Super Bowl. You used to see a trailer. That was the first time you knew about it coming on. That's all you knew, and then it was like, boom, there it was. You saw it, amazing. Now we know what every single commercial is going to be. We know what trailer is going to be, and then like 5 minutes after, it's on the internet. So it's just killed the mystery about it, killed the wonder and amazement of the commercial. And now all the commercials are just asinine. They're stupid. They don't make... All you sit there and do is go, wow, they paid that much money for that? Wow, they paid that much money for that? Like, it's just embarrassing commercials. You only see them once. People make a big deal of it, and then the next morning I got to hear about, let's look at a list of the best commercials from Super Bowl. I don't...
Yes.
Fuck it, man. I mean, come on. They're not that great. They used to be good when you didn't know about these things and they sprung them on you. But we know advance ahead of time and we dissect them later.
Well, that's my favorite thing.
It's ridiculous.
That's my favorite thing during our newscast. We'll talk about our favorite commercials, and they'll be playing, and I'm like, you're giving away free advertising.
Exactly.
You're showing their product.
So I don't like that at all. I don't watch, and they start at like 10 o'clock in the morning, pretty much, the Super Bowl coverage or something like that. I mean, it's like all day.
Yeah, it's pretty much all day.
That's a waste of time. What gets me is that my family, there's always like some people that don't give a crap about the commercials, and then like other people, I won't say who, are like fanatic about them, and nobody can be talking during the commercial. Nobody can be doing anything. You know, they're got to be like, be quiet, everybody shut up, it's this commercial. And I'm like, I don't care. You'll see it in 5 minutes on the interwebs. You know, I mean, like, it's not a big deal. So, and like I said, trailers have been ruined by the internet for years now. And that really sucks. Okay, used to go to the movie and what's this trailer? What is this? Now we know when it's going to play, what theaters, how many, blah 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 blah. How long the trailer is. The mystery of the world is gone, man. It's gone, and that's just part of it. But what it's not a mystery is what food is going to be there. So I'm happy about that. And you know what my staple is now? Is wings. It definitely is chicken wings. That's what it's all about. Where are the wings going to be from? Are they going to be from this place, that place, this place? What flavors? And then this. Oh my God, my family with this. Which ones are these? Are these the lemon ones? Are these this ones? Is this the teriyaki? Is that the Jamaican jerk? Is this what? It's just over and over. I'm just eat them. Just shove them in your mouth and eat them. Who cares? Now are these the honey mustard ones, or is this the? I'm just like, you're driving me insane.
I wish there were, but here's my thing. Fuck wings. All right, I'm tired of bones in my food. I've evolved past that. You better give me boneless wings. I just want to shove them in my mouth and chew that shit up.
No, I said that too. I'll be honest with you. I was always a brown, hot, and shove it in my mouth fan for a long time. I didn't want to do any work. I didn't want to work on ribs. I didn't work on wings. I didn't want to do any work for food. I just want it on a spoon or a fork, and you shove it in my beak, and I eat it. But I tell you what, when you have some really good versions of those, ribs, wings, and stuff, I really start to appreciate how good they taste. I don't mind doing the work. I don't mind getting dirty now for some reason. I think it's just because I went through that fat man stage, and I was like, just give it to me. I'll do the work. They're so good.
You're way off.
No way. I like the moisture that's in a normal wing. Usually.
Just like, and I won't give this place a free plug, but there is a fondue restaurant here in our town.
Very good.
No, fuck that. I'm not gonna go pay $80 to cook my own goddamn food. Bring me some fucking food.
It's supposed to be romantic. You and your boyfriend go there, and you have your fondue.
So we're gonna go on Valentine's Day.
I'm not your boyfriend.
Not yet. I'm working on it. Working up to it.
Jesus. That's to get me way drunker.
So you know what I'm saying? Like I don't have time to be cooking my own food and shit. Like, fuck you. I'm paying all this money. You cook my food.
You're right. That's a valid excuse. It shouldn't be that expensive.
There's a place in San Diego called the Strip Club. It's a steak place. And it's the same principle. You go there, you pick your cut of steak, they bring it out to you raw, and you cook it on a grill.
Sounds good.
Sounds like a fucking liability, like a lawsuit waiting to happen. That's what it sounds like.
Well, it's like them hibachi tables. I'm always afraid someone's going to burn their ass on those.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, they got a fucking grill there where you have to grill your own steak.
Crazy.
Fuck you. I'm not paying $30
to
ruin steak so I can fuck it up. You fucking season this shit and cook it for me.
You need to have a guy standing beside me that goes, you might want to flip that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That's gonna
you
burn.
Cook that shit for me.
You're getting close to medium well right there. You know what I mean?
So that's what I'm talking about. Any place where I got to cook my own food, right out.
It's supposed to be romantic.
It's right out.
It's a harken back to.
I don't think that steak place is supposed to be romantic.
Fondue is though. Fondue shouldn't be expensive. There should be fast food fondue places.
And let me tell you this also, for any of our listeners, if you go to the fondue place that's here in Greenville, still not giving it a plug exactly. Let me do you a solid. Do this: cheese appetizer, cheese entree.
You're gonna be eating a lot of cheese.
Fuck the food entree. Fuck the steak or shrimp or chicken
Just
or whatever
cheese
else.
fondue.
Go cheese fondue,
Yeah.
followed by cheese fondue, followed by dessert. That's what you need to do.
Don't do the meat.
Don't do the meat.
No
it's
meat.
a pain in the ass. It's not worth it. The cheese fondue is where it's at. So go cheese, dessert. There you go.
Well, fondue should be bigger than it is. It's probably a slight on the food industry. We all have fast food fondue places.
How would you do that? Fast food fondue places.
Also, this is a genius idea I just came up with. Me and you make millions off of it. We run with it. Wouldn't that be great?
It'll be like Zaxby's right now. Zaxby's, when you go to order there, they've got a fucking sign that says, "Please wait. Food is prepared, for quality, blah, 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 as it's ordered." Imagine a fondue place. Going through a drive-through fondue.
It's going to take a while.
It's gonna be a little bit, guys. I've got to fry my my steak here for about 10-15 minutes.
Some people might not know what Zaxby's is. They live in states that are hell states, if you ask me. Shit states. If
People that don't have Zaxby's.
Yeah, I've heard of people that do not have Zaxby's. And if there's anybody listening out there, you've not had Zaxby's, I apologize. Zaxby's is wonderful, wonderful chickens. Wings and chicken fingers and other stuff as well. Mainly, mostly
just chicken.
It's chicken. It is wonderful. It is heavenly. And I put it very high on my list of fast food places. Which that's probably a list we'll have to do for another time. That'll be our next list. Fast food places.
Well, I already got number one.
You still keeping up with your number one?
Of my number one fast food place?
Yeah.
Wendy's?
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It is good. It's the variety. It's the variety.
It's the variety and it's the price.
You're right.
I'm sorry. It's always going to be Wendy's, man.
We
Wendy's
do get
can't
burnt
be
out.
beat.
We do get burnt out of it sometimes.
We do get burnt out of it, but overall,
Yeah.
burger, quality of food, price, I'm sorry. Wendy's,
The only other thing I would say that with me is like, I said it the other night, I don't believe I've ever had one meal of Mexican food that was bad. I've liked every single meal of Mexican food I've ever had. Like, the type of meal. Taco, burrito, enchilada. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is, because it's all the same food. It's good. Taco Bell. I've not had anything bad from Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Okay, that's fine. I was like, now, like, from a legit Mexican
you
restaurant,
get some
I've
weird
been
stuff.
food poisoned.
Sure, you get some.
I've had food poisoning from a Mexican restaurant.
You can get food poisoning anywhere.
Yeah.
But Taco Bell, I do not believe I've had anything bad at Taco Bell ever in my life.
There are things on their menu I don't care for, but I wouldn't say it's bad.
Right.
But like,
And they do win the war in the future.
They do. At the end of the day, the fast food war will be won by Taco Bell.
Yeah.
So if you don't like it, you better get on the train.
And it's Chalupa's where it's at, by the way, just so everybody knows. That's my preferred.
Or cheese gordita crunch.
Cheese gordita crunch for him, Chalupa for me. So, I think we've covered a lot of base here on this episode.
Yep.
I like the new structure. We can keep it all flowing, too.
We'll see.
The only thing about the new structure is that there's possibly something in the beginning that we might miss, and then be like, oh yeah, well, let me talk about something that happened in the beginning. So that might be an issue with this, because we might forget.
We'll see. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, how do you like the new format?
Reach out to us. Twitter, Facebook, whatever you want to do.
Anything, please. Are you out there? Are you out there? Desperate. So yeah, that was that's the episode. I think. You got anything else?
Nope. You've already picked your song.
I've
right?
got my song. You know what it is. It's a great song.
It's coming in.
There it is. And like we've said, Go Ape Podcast on Twitter. I'm Savage GM on Twitter.
Abe Randall on Twitter.
Go Ape.
Go Ape.
Go Ape.